Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. So, Starfield update 1.10.30 just went live on the Steam beta. So, the patch notes dropped, and we're going to take a look at them. Now, I briefly skimmed over these patch notes, so there's a lot to it. So, if you're the sort of person where you don't want to have to listen to my voice for the better part of probably 20 minutes reading stuff, I'll leave a link to the patch notes in the bottom. But if you don't mind that, hopefully you enjoy it because I'll add some kind of insight on some of the things just to give clarification. So basically for anybody that's new here or like if you're unfamiliar with how Bethesda handled the patching with Starfield, basically they released the patches in a beta 2 weeks early on Steam. You need to basically download a specific version of the game on Steam. And then 2 weeks after the patch goes live there, it then gets pushed through to the Xbox and the normal branch of Steam and also the Microsoft Store. So let's take a look at them. So this came out the 6th of March, so just today. So we're going to read some of it. So say cheese. Our latest update brings new ways to show off your modeling skills in space with the addition of new poses and expressions for you and your companions. We excitedly await more showing off of your photography. We also understand that digipics are precious, so we've made an adjustment that allows you to undo without the penalty cost of a digipic during the security minigame. So far, big ups Bethesda, thank you for that. Not without fixes, we have also a multitude of fixes to quests, graphics, gameplay, and more. Take a look at the full list down below for the details on what's in this update. As always, we appreciate your feedback, attention to providing us details on issues you encounter. Keep them coming. Please note this update is currently in Steam beta before going live for all players. We don't anticipate much change from this update, but we'll let you know if it's available. Thank you. So before I do get into it, I will also say that we've also got a little bit of news regarding potential updates for the game when it comes to content. So we'll kind of add that at the end. That's probably sounds clickbaity, but we'll just kind of give you something good to look forward to. So features. Photo mode added the ability to set expressions and poses on players and companions in photo mode. Now, this is kind of a big one for me as a content creator. Now, there's a lot of people in the Discord I am part of. A lot of the guys were kind of making kind of jokes about it, and it's fair. Like, a lot of people don't make use of it. And they have kind of been saying, like, oh, it seems like a weird kind of thing to kind of waste dev time on. But as someone who's played Fallout 76 and is aware of all of the different poses and stuff, I would hazard a guess that 90% of the stuff we're seeing is going to have been ported directly from Fallout 76, so it's going to be very minuscule, like dev time. Scanner, you can now open doors and harvest with the scanner open. That is really big. For the first, I want to say for the first like 100 hours of my playthrough, I was always like, how the hell am I supposed to play stuff inside the kind of the prefab outpost structures? And then I realized you're able to basically pull up the thing. Anyway, setting course on an inactive quest will now make it active. That's kind of interesting, but that could also lead to some problems we'll talk about. Added support for adjusting FOV when using third-person ship view. This is a big one. Added an anisotropic filtering quality slider for PC. Remove the digipic cost for using undo during the security minigame. Add an autosave when fast traveling from a planet's surface to orbit. This is kind of a nice one because I've noticed after the most recent patch, I've been getting a lot more kind of save errors basically, and then update the ship UI to perform more smoothly at higher frame rates. So fixes, strap in. So you got art fixes, fixed an area that allowed players to access the New Atlantis ship technician's vendor chest. That's an interesting one, considering I thought they patched that. So I will say, like last time, I'm assuming a lot of these are just kind of old stuff that they're covering, but anyway. Fixed a gap that allows players to access spacesuits without picking locks on one of the spacesuit display cases. So this is in direct reference to, actually, there's probably a lot of cases where this is directly referenced, but one of the main ones is the Constellation suit in the basement Constellation. Fixed an issue that could cause Fishworker masks to not be visible when equipped. Fixed a spot where the player could get out of the world on the Siren of Stars. Fixed a rare issue that could cause the player to remain stuck under an elevator. Fixed a spot where the player could become stuck outside Hope Tech. Fixed flickering floors in the aquarium of the research station on Altair 2. Fixed the text on the sign being cut off in the key. Corrected a sign found in the key. Adjust the position of the floating speaker at the NASA launch facility. Fix the badly placed objects in the Paradiso Hotel. Fix the spot the players could get stuck in the lair of the mantis. Fix the spot that players should get stuck on top of a bookcase in Marco's room. That's kind of ironic. I want to know the guy who found that. Fix the generator intersecting with railings on New Homestead. Fix disappearing objects on Star Station RE939. Fix balloons that were stuck inside each other in certain stars. Fix the spot where players could get stuck on a staircase in New Homestead. Fix flickering textures in the Vanguard test chamber. Adjust the position of some office objects on the desks in the abandoned hangar. Fix the spot where players could go through the wall in New Homestead. Fix the chair placement inside of Hope Tech. Fix the spot where players could get stuck in Infinity LTD. Fixed a chair stuck in the wall on the roof of Sonny DeFalco's island. Fixed a spot where players could fall out of the world in the autonomous Star Yard. Settled some floating items in Argos' office of New Atlantis. Didn't know Argos had an office in New Atlantis. Interesting. Fix some decal placements in the abandoned hangar. Fix a spot where players could see out of the world in Red Devil's HQ. Fix a spot where players could get stuck in Londinium. Fix the stool that couldn't be sat on Red Mile. Now that's the real problem, Bethesda. Come on now. That's completely game breaking. When you see a stool you can't sit on. What is this, Elder Scrolls Online? Sorry, that's a very specific joke. So for the one person that gets that, I appreciate you. Fixed flickering mats and neon. Rotate a monitor to face the intended direction of Deimos Staryard. Fixed placement of some items in the autonomous Dogstar factory on Vega 2. Fix the sign placement in Tau Gourmet. Fix the spot where players get stuck near the Bayou Plaza of Neon. Fix the spot where players get stuck underneath metal girders in Neon. Rotated an electrical panel in the Star Station. Fix disappearing decals in the wall in a research station, Outpost U309. Fix chair placement that caused an intersection with a computer in the mining complex. Fix missing walls on the UC Syracuse. Fix floating whiteboard text inside the Nishina research facility. Fixed disappearing paper on the wall of the Star Station RE939. Fix a gap in the tarmac of Cydonia. Fix the spot where players could fall through the map behind chunks in New Atlantis. Fixed storage bins intersecting in the lair of the Mantis. Fixed fire extinguishers stuck inside the wall of the Siren of Stars. Fixed flickering textures found on Mars's mech factory. Adjusted position of objects on shelves found in Gargarin. Adjusted position of objects in the Akil City barracks. Settled floating vents in the vent panel in the Infinity LTD HQ. Adjusted positions of objects on the Fortuna spaceship. Fix the spot where players get stuck on the scow. Fix the spot where players get stuck in the vault and the Sirens of Stars. Fix the flickering sign on Gargarin. Fix the disappearing note on a whiteboard found in the fracking station on Procyon VB. Fixed a disappearing painting found in the lodge. Fix the spot where players get stuck in the Bindi mining operation. Adjust the position of shelves in the Emporium and Neon. Fix the flickering wall panel in Deimos Staryard. Fix weapons placed incorrectly on display cases found in Civilian Outpost. Fixed object placement on shelves in Aquila's Stone Route Inn. Fixed decal issues on whiteboards inside the Warlock ship. Fixed shelves and objects inside the Corvus. Fixed items stuck inside shelves in our Gargarin. Fixed flickering textures found in New Homestead. Fixed the texture in the tarmac of Wagoner Farm. Fixed the spot where players could get inside the world at the Bindi mining outpost. Adjusted physics on objects found near Alex Shadid's desk in Aquila City. Replace a missing wall in Gargarin. Fixed physics on some objects placed in New Homestead. Fix the spot where players could fall out of the world in the Science Outpost location. Fixed objects stuck inside the shelf on Mast. Fixed flickering posters found in the Vigilance. Fixed item physics in cabinets found in Hope Tech. Fixed the spot where players get stuck inside the lock. Fixed the gap underneath the airlock door of a Science Outpost on Magnar. Fixed physics on the skull in the Co-Heritage Museum. Fixed a decal texture on the table of the lock. Fixed a spot where players could see out of the world of the lock. Fixed physics on objects placed in the Emporium. Fixed cabinets intersecting in Gargarin. Fixed physics on the cabinet found at one of the United Colonies garrison locations. Fixed a gap in the ceiling of the lock. The lock, I'm trying to remember what that is. I'm assuming it's a ship or a station, but I can't remember. Fixed flickering windows of Terebrew in New Atlantis. Fixed collisions on the floor of a warehouse in Neon. Fixed flickering posters in the military wing of Mast. Smoothed out collisions near Madame Sauvage's in Neon. Fixed a spot on the Mercury Tower where players could fall outside the world. Fixed disappearing decals outside of the Astro Lounge. Fixed disappearing vent frames in Neon. Fixed a fan position near the Xenofresh sign in Neon. Fixed a shelf intersecting the wall near the UC distribution. Fixed a spot where players could get out of the world near the door to House Fruit Embassy. Settled a floating rope near the Neon landing bay. Fixed a collision on a wall in the Ryusian Industries headquarters. Fixed spots where players could see outside the world near the pool in the commercial district. Fixed spots where players could see outside the world on a roof of the residential New Atlantis. Fixed a spot where players could see outside the world under the Mast Bridge in New Atlantis. Rotate a monitor in the Stroud Eklund showroom. Fixed a spot where players could fall out of the world near the Fishmonger Neon. Fixed a gap in the sidewalk and grass in New Atlantis. Fixed multiple spots where players could see outside the world on the roof of the Pioneer Tower. Fixed a missing wall near the Pioneer Tower. Fixed an issue where characters would suddenly disappear in Neon's elevators. Fixed several spots where players could see out of the world in Neon. Fixed the flickering computer monitors found in Apex Electronics. Fixed spots where players could see out the world near the Pioneer Tower in New Atlantis. Fixed a netting that disappearing inside Neon at certain viewing angles. Fixed flickering crates in Sidonia. Fixed flickering textures in the corner of Bayou's penthouse bedroom. Fixed gaps in the wall inside Galbank of New Atlantis. Fixed a spot where players could see out the world in the Trade Authority. Fixed an area where the player could get out of the world in Generdime Industries. Corrected a missing wall inside the Mercury Tower lobby. Fixed a backward polygon floating outside the warehouse in Neon. Dropped a floating tree outside the entrance of the lair of the Mantis. Made it so mineral resources can now be properly harvested near Gargarin. Settled a floating tree near remote industrial site locations. Settled a floating rock near industrial mines. Settled a floating tree to the ground at the abandoned farm location. Fixed a spot where players could get out of a cave on Procyon 1. Improved LOD for juniper trees, fringe trees, swamp pods, and hickories. So LOD is basically, I believe it's like it's kind of like how light affects it, I believe. I'm assuming it's I want to say it's something similar. And again, if I'm misspeaking, someone wants to correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure it's similar to the kind of the God rays you see. So like how light basically bounces off things. Fix the spot where players get outside the world in a cave on Altair 2. Fix the floating tree near the lair of the Mantis. Fix an area that caused players to see out of the world in the mining complex. Fixed flickering bushes seen during Samco's Matter of the Heart quest scene. Settled the floating resource stone near Aquila. Settled a floating stone near Gargarin's landing pad. Fixed an area that caused the player to fall out the world near Gargarin. Fixed floating fungus found on Procyon. Settled floating stone arches near Gargarin. Fixed a texture blend around the wetlands biome. Fixed textures on the leaves of the sapling trees. Settled a floating rock near the landing site in Ptolemy 2A. Addressed texturing issues on various cave sections. Fixed a few areas that caused players to fall out of the world. Fixed a spot where players could get stuck outside of the mining complex. Dropped the floating tree to the ground near Gargarin. Fixed a spot where players could get stuck outside Sidonia. Settled floating rocks to the ground around Erin's camp. Fixed a spot in New Atlantis Spaceport where players get stuck. Fixed gaps in the cave that allow visibility during the playable space in underground caves. Settled texture issues on the landing pad of the Ronshaw Research Facility. Don't know where that one is. Settled a floating tree on the ground near the Dauntless crash site. Fixed a flicker on the quarantine isolator. Addressed flickering textures on the faucets in the lock. Adjusted Briggs' pose when holding a weapon, the showdown. Adjusted assets for the living outside Earth airlock display, relative quest NASA. Fix an issue that caused the player to remain stuck while traversing the collapsed C block near the armory and the lock. Fix an issue that caused the player to become stuck between rocks in New Atlantis on Jemison. Fixed an issue that could cause the player to become stuck inside the stairs that lead down to the Red Mile. Fixed blast shield occasionally disappearing from landing pads near Nishina Research Station. Fixed an issue that could cause players to get stuck after falling down a tube in the Industrial Outpost. And fixed a few landing areas like Valerie's Quest that was too small for some ships. That was a lot, and as you can see, we still have a lot to go. But something I will add is there's a lot of these fixes, and this actually kind of has me a little excited. So I'm gonna just kind of say the point I was gonna say at the end. So there's been a lot of hullabaloo recently. So there's a Steam mod data or Steam database, I believe it is. It's like Steam DB or it's like Starfield mod DB. Basically, it's like a database that kind of keeps track of all of the different kind of like files for games. And recently there was an addition added to it that was simply called unknown. So there was extra, like there was basically like an extra file path set up. Now, now this could mean nothing because in the past we have seen situations with older games where they would basically add a potential update and like people like, oh, there's like a new update coming for Skyrim, and then turns out it wasn't. But judging by the fact that it was also used in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, it kind of was the pre-setup for when we would be getting the expansion. So that alone, and the fact that there's a lot of fixes there. Now, a lot of those fixes are very specific. Like there are areas where players could get stuck or discrepancies in the kind of the layout and stuff. And it makes me think the reason they're being so thorough is because the DLC coming out could potentially conflict with all of these things. That's why like this update is huge in terms of what we're getting. Like look at comparing it to the last one. The last one was pretty big, but nothing near this. So yeah, this is obviously just speculation on my part, but I would be surprised if we don't see the DLC dropping in like the next month or two. Like honestly, after this update, I could 100% see them just like kind of just almost like stealth dropping the like just hitting us with oh yeah, by the way, new update coming out next week. It's going to be the new DLC. Get it now. Now, obviously, that being said, we've got some other updates that Bethesda have kind of been working on and stuff. And while the main ones kind of we're thinking of is obviously the new expansion, Shattered Space, there is also the Creation Kit being dropped, which will also add mods to console, as well as some minor kind of changes they've mentioned, like updating the ship menu to kind of add extra things, and also kind of updating, basically like updating like new ways to travel. Now, what I'm thinking of, what I'm speculating, is that if you ever play certain games like MMOs and stuff, whenever they bring out a new expansion, they have like the free update and then the paid update. Like ESO is an example. I think World of Warcraft did too. And I could honestly see them launching a load of these new features alongside the DLC. Like, for instance, the updating the ship builder menu to kind of, give us a few new parts, tweak some things, adding new ways to travel. Anyway, we're going to keep looking here. Like I said, this is going to be a long video, so I do apologize if you're kind of not in the mood to listen to me talk. But one thing I will say is, like, when things kind of pop up that I have a bit of insight of I will like to share it just because, Anyway, these are some gameplay fixes. Fix an issue with power allocation decreasing unintentionally due to crew bonuses. I've had that issue. It's kind of annoying. Crew bonuses for ship weapon recharge time should now be applied as intended while in targeting mode. That's an interesting one. Fix an issue that could turn the player's head to the left when sprinting in third person. I've never had that. Address an issue that could cause artifacts to become inaccessible if the player's left the location for a long time without retrieving them. Fix an issue that could cause the player's housing decorations to be lost when there is change in New Atlantis. That is a big one. That is a very big one. That's a reference to, spoilers alert, New Atlantis basically changes state depending on a specific quest. And yeah, if basically it can completely wipe everything. Resolved an issue where Ciro could appear non-interactable if she was assigned to a ship or outpost during a conversation with Walter in the lodge. I actually had that issue, weirdly, where I was trying to finish my my second new game plus, and like no one was talking to me, and I basically had to kind of go out and come back in. Resolved an issue where player could be affected by weather while inside. That's another big one. Glad they kind of are fixing that. Fix an issue that could prevent the player from getting 100% completion on nearest planetary survey. Fixed an issue on Heinlein VA's moon, which could cause chlorine gas vents deposits to be extremely rare. Fix an issue that could cause weather to occur on planets with no atmosphere. Addressed an issue where EM damage wasn't being applied as intended to robot enemies. Resolved a rare issue where the robots might not power down after being disabled in the terminal. Mini bots should no longer appear to influence the stealth meter. About time. I was so triggered trying to do the sneaky part of that quest, that the reunion quest line. They were just constantly getting me caught. Boarding encounters should now have a better difficulty distribution. This is a good one because something I've noticed that I play on very hard, and generally speaking, the enemies usually they have a nice mix of like low level and high level enemies. But some situations it wouldn't. You would just have a lot of high level enemies, and if you're not prepared, fixed an issue that prevented commandeering a smuggler Freestar Rambler after killing all of its crew. Alien reanimation now works in aquatic and flying creatures. Alien reanimation, is that a perk? That's probably one of the spells. I've never really used it. Resolved an issue that could sometimes prevent players from turning invisible when using void form. Resolved a time scaling issue that could occur if phase times was used before waiting or resting. Parallel self clone should now have the ability to follow players through load doors. I need to get that. Sunless space should now be able to deal crit damage. Fix an issue where it will cause your allied ships to become hostile during an anti-grav field inside your ship when using anti-grav. Oh, that's a weird one. That's kind of funny though. Address an issue where the power of a Terramorph in the Red Devil could potentially hit. Oh my god. Yeah, this little side note. I know I probably shouldn't be kind of giving these side notes for always the 20 minutes, but I put out a video today, which is Wednesday, and I did like a little kind of, it was like a mini kind of teaser to some like kind of combat. It was like a Terramorph versus like, I think I spawned 12 varying leveled UC Marines. And let's just say, I had to put the game on very easy for them to actually beat it, which was kind of funny. Terramorphs are no joke. And it wasn't even like a special one. Anyway, resolved an issue where alien reanimation, which caused it to last longer than intended when used by another character. Fix an issue with scavenger skill not incrementing when weapon cases were looted. Resolved an issue that could cause missile weapon rank 4 to not recharge as intended. Fixed an issue with rejuvenation, FX remaining active. Fix an issue where the EM weapon skills challenge wasn't tracking EM damage as intended. Fix an issue where starborn ship weapons were not being improved by ship skills. That's an interesting one. Does that mean potentially we might be getting starborn ships might be viable now? Fixed an issue while using boost pack and 0G, counting towards the weightlifting challenge. Fixed an issue where the wellness skill did not apply actively when leveling up. Fixed a rare issue where Neurostrike could count a crowd character as a stunned enemy. Fixed an issue where Neurostrike challenge progress, causing it to be more difficult than intended after the first rank. Fixed a rank 4 concealment issue that briefly made the player undetectable. Contraband is now removed when rejecting a previously accepted smuggling mission. Addresses an issue that allowed attacking the assigned home ship to progress ship weapon skills. Fix an issue where mom and dad could participate in different conversations with each other at the same time. Fix an issue that could allow unusable ammo to be placed in the world. That is the 40mm grenade launcher round, fun fact. I'm assuming that was a testing round that they got in, but yeah. Wonder if they're going to just remove it from future events, or like, is it gone? Fix an issue where the boost pack could be incorrectly hidden when using boost pack skills. Fix an issue with damage scaling for critical damage after going through the Unity. It seems like there's a lot of issues that have been happening regarding the Unity, which is kind of funny. Like there's supposed to be, apparently I didn't realize this, when you go through the Unity, every time you go through the Unity, the kind of combat is supposed to kind of like the level of difficulty is supposed to increase exponentially, but apparently it doesn't. Fixed an issue that could cause Koa's state to be accessible for Sam's commitment after going through the Unity. Water and wetland bios should now correctly spawn creatures for scanning. Fix an issue that would occasionally cause swimming creatures to fly above water appear on land. Fix an issue where flying creatures could sometimes appear to fall slowly after being killed. Address an issue where occasionally a character could clip through the ground when knocked down. You can be knocked down in this game? Oh, it probably means NPCs, not us. Fixed an issue that could cause unstable ragdoll on mercs. Resolved an issue that could cause a technician's body to turn invisible if a manipulated character was instructed to inspect the corpse. Fixed a rear issue that could cause a character to spin when exiting a seated position. Fixed an issue that cause dead characters on the red mile to be standing upright. Characters no longer share the same chair at the same time in the rock. Fixed an issue that could cause characters to shift out of the world when entering certain poses. Fixed various character head tracking issues that could make scenes look inconsistent. Reduce the frequency of stun attacks from the Elder Terramorph during hostile intelligence. Fix an issue that could cause Terramorphs to not properly ambush during some encounters. Turrets in the Mantis lair should no longer be invisible after leaving and returning. Boarding encounter objectives should now be cleared when fast traveling off a boarded ship via the star map. Resolved an issue that could cause crosshairs to turn red during combat when not pointing. I've noticed that, and it's really tricky because part of me is like, is there something here I should be, shooting? Fix Kodama recoil inconsistencies between first and third person. Resolved an issue when releasing aim while turning in third person could automatically cause aiming to begin again. Aiming through a scope weapon while attempting to enter dialogue should no longer cause the weapon to become invisible. I feel like there's a lot of people trying to make use of, because there was a perk, I believe, in. I want to say it was a perk in Fallout. No, it was Skyrim, where like if you talk to people with your weapon out, like you could have like adverse effects. Oh, ignore that pop up. I apologize. My headset was just like, yeah, I haven't been talking for a while. Fixed an issue that could cause initial melee attacks to fail after immediately drawing the weapon. I have noticed that when I do the melee. Resolved an issue where player could lose a large amount of oxygen when using a power attack and blocking. Again, noticed that one too. Resolved an issue with scopes appearing too low if used in third person directly after landing a new planet. The Rattler should now use the correct reload animation in zero-G environments. Resolved an issue with the Frenzy special effect on the keel hauler affecting allies. Fixed an issue that could cause the auto rivet to fire in a wider cone when the laser sight was added. Fix an issue where the drumbeat burst attachment, causing it to fire 3 shots instead of 4. Special weapon effects with a damage increase should now function with EM. Fix an issue with the anti-ballistics that cause it to not reduce physical damage from particle beam weapons. Fixed an issue where EM weapons dealt health damage instead when used by a companion. Added special effects to the Old Earth armor set reward. The Old Earth armor set reward. I'm not sure if that's like a specific quest related set or they just Old Earth armor. I can't remember Old Earth armor. Maybe I'm. Addressed an issue that could soft lock the player if they interact with a stun mine in a specific way. Fixed an issue where players could avoid criminal repercussion by stowing their weapon at a very specific time. Addressed an issue where companions would not be dressed correctly if stolen outfit was removed due to an arrest. Quest-specific components such as Emma Wilcox and Walter Stroud are now prevented from taking weapons from locked chests when they're out of ammo. That used to really trigger me, and I'm surprised that Bethesda haven't kind of caught on to that. Because that's something like that's how you used to get dog meat to get you in Fallout 4. At the very start of the game, you bring dog meat in, and he would basically grab any weapon in a locked chest, which is kind of funny. Fixed crash that would occur if the player holds a corpse in front of a miner. I wouldn't recommend holding a corpse in front of anybody, but like a child is a bit like, what sort of monster are you? Characters no longer react to older bodies as if they were new corpses. Fixed an issue where Sam could still tell Cora a joke. Where Sam could still tell Cora she could try out her joke on a dead character. Okay, fair enough. Fixed an issue where the player could talk about adoring fans' fandom even though he had never joined the crew. Address an issue that could cause the camera to appear detached when immediately boost packing after a tempo. Resolved an issue where the boost pack while entering 0G could disable boosting. Ammo packs near Sergeant Yumi's eyewitness should now provide more ammo. Docking at a station with a stolen ship should now set as your home ship. Added reward for completing the injured guard activity in the Trade Authority warehouse. Added loot to a weapon rack hidden behind a master locked door at the ship disassembly platform. I like that they're doing that. About time, Bethesda. Fix an issue where skill magazines could not be acquired in the abandoned farm. Fix an issue that could cause Havershaw to be tucked away from her desired position in Stroud Eklund's Star Yard. Yes, that was really annoying because sometimes he would just not, because he has a desk inside and a desk outside, which is kind of weird, but he would also just disappear. Removed an invisible collision that partially blocked movement through the plastic flaps at the entrance to the clinic. Fixed an issue where the supply shelf would not appear correctly in the Freestar Ranger Station, Hopetown. Fixed an issue, a texture issue, which would occur when the tables in Jake's bar were shot. VFX and SFX will now occur when the player discovers a scanner anomaly, even while not directly facing it. Fixed an issue with all guards on the scow sharing a similar appearance. Resolved an issue. I wish they could do that for the ship vendor. Resolved an issue that could cause a quest for a legendary ship to not appear during a space encounter. Yes, thank God for that. That's really annoying. Fixed an issue where helping a settler by using medical skill and dialogue would incorrectly consume a med pack. That's kind of cool. I've never come across that. Adjusted ownership of Maurice Linus journal so it can be taken without stealing a new homestead. Fixed an issue with the ramp of the Razor Leaf that could cause player pathing difficulty. Fixed an issue that could cause enemies to combat slide between cover spots. Fixed an issue that could cause Vasco to appear incorrectly in the player ship. It wasn't in the player ship. It was on top of it, Bethesda. Come on now. Fixed an issue that players could stall player character patrols if they spoke immediately before reaching an idle location. Followers should no longer continue their conversation if the player exits the ship while they're speaking. I like that. That is a really annoying feature because if you have Cora and Sam, they'll keep talking. Fixed a rare issue that could cause homesters to attack without provocation. Improved crowd fleeing behavior. Fixed an issue that could cause enemies to spawn on the roof areas of ships. Fixed an issue that could cause a character using a melee attack to get stuck in a floating state. Fixed issue where Vasco would not path back to the ship through Sidonium when dismissed. Fixed an issue that could leave followers in a zero-G animation if the ship is exited when gravity is being disabled. Fix an issue with companions jumping that could cause them to become stuck in floating states. Addressed an issue that allowed players to get into a state where they could wait while standing up. Yeah, I've had that happen. That was kind of weird. Initially thought it was cool, but then the Y wouldn't go away unless I reload the save. Addressed an issue that could sometimes cause allied ships to not retaliate when being attacked by the player. Oh god. Hopefully they didn't tweak that too much, because now if we accidentally shoot anything once, it's game over. Fix the player sometimes being stuck in a pending grab jump. Fixed an issue that could cause spaceships to land significantly above the ground on various planets. Addressed an issue that could temporarily alter the view of a ship in third person after FOV in photo mode was used. Ship weapons should now target the nearest module on enemy ship instead of the center mass. That's kind of a big one. I'm really liking that. Fixed an issue that could sometimes prevent a player from gaining repair parts after helping an allied ship. Addressed an issue that caused Heller to briefly flicker during boring machine countdown. Fixed an issue that could sometimes cause players to double blink during dialogue. Improved an issue that could appear as an odd emotion transition on faces during dialogue. Fixed an issue where the character could reopen their eyes after being killed. Fixed an issue where they cause a character to say generic greeting instead of a custom greeting. Oh my god. That's like the it's like there's the meme in Fallout New Vegas when you're talking to say random the guy in when you leave the casino after talking to Benny or whatever, you get the guy, he's like, Ave, true to Kaiser, the Kaiser has marked you, you can meet him, and then when you go say goodbye, he's like, later. His entire voice changes, which is pretty funny. Anyway, various fixes for planetary bodies with erroneous orbits, various stability. So graphics. Improved lighting on particles at night when using the flashlight, PC, medium, high, ultra, and Xbox Series X. Ultra and Xbox Series X. So what is the Xbox Series X play on Ultra? Fixed rare depth of field issues. Fixed an issue that would cause the sun's lens flare to disappear when partially occluded by an object. Fixed an issue causing the sun's lens flare to have the wrong size when modifying the FOV. Fixed an issue that could occasionally display the sun's lens flare through the opaque objects around the edge of the screen. Fixed a rare issue that could cause shadows or lighting to flicker during sunsets and dawn. Fixed an issue in Neon Spaceport that could cause atmosphere to be overly bright. Fixed the occasional flickering bloom that could occur when the sun started appearing behind a planet in space. Fixed occasional screen flickering that could occur when using medium graphic settings. Press preset with VSync disabled PC. Fixed an issue that could cause the player view to momentarily blur after waiting on a chair. I've had that happen. It's kind of annoying. Fix an issue that could display black squares around a planet when the other planet rings were visible in the star map. Fix an issue that could occasionally make lightning bolts appear to have missing sections. Fixed occasionally missing lighting effects when the player was in the ship during a storm. Improve the look of beards and mustaches in the distance. Fixed rare pixelated shadows that could occur on characters' outfits under certain exterior lighting. Fixed an issue with shadows occasionally appearing inconsistently on asteroids in space. Fixed a rare issue that could occasionally display outlines on objects when you see through smoke. Fix rare issues that could lead to displaying wrong colors of smoke effects in Varun's embassy. Fix fog abruptly appearing and displaying in the Locke's shuttle bay during Echoes of the Past. Fix popping smoke emitting from crashed ships the player approaches during Back to Vectera. Fixed white flickering dots that could occasionally appear on wet surfaces. Fixed an issue that could occasionally make glass flicker in the distance. Fixed flickering on characters when DLSS was enabled. Fixed flickering lines in the ground when on the floor when you see through glass and Ryujin on the Series S only. Fixed rare cases of flickering with FSR2. Fixed subtle flickering that could occasionally occur on the Equinox. Fixed occasional flickering on the magpoles. Fixed flickering on the Navigator's pack. Fixed an issue where the player's hair could occasionally clip through the chunk's cap in third person. Fixed an issue where character's hair could have holes in it when wearing a cap. Fixed an issue where the player's facial hair partially disappeared when wearing the fish worker's mask while hidden. I find that pretty funny because that's always been an issue with Bethesda for throughout the years. It's like there'd be like really cool outfits, but if you wear them and you look too closely in third person, like it either makes your character bald or removes facial features. Um, Fix an issue that could cause a parent planet's axis to instantly shift at a certain time of day once leaving the surface. Addressed an issue with electric shock VFX that could happen at Argos extractors. Fixed an issue that would appear with ship trails emitted from damaged ships' engines at high speed. Fixed missing VFX on canisters that could occur on certain weapons in the Keela City prison. Fixed an issue causing exploding tanks to occur outside of Crete Research Lab. Various textures and adjustments to fix occasional moire, flickering, and Z fighting issues. Various decals and geometry fixes. Various shadow quality improvements and bug fixes. And various minor performance improvements. So now we got some Outpost updates. So that was a lot of, again, a lot of fixes. An awful lot of fixes. Which just, again, I might be kind of being overly optimistic, but it makes me think that they're trying to basically hammer down the kind of the last rivets before the launch of like their first big expansion. Resolved an issue that could make Workbench appear to be obstructed. Fixed an issue with the Outpost where the player could see an infinite loading spinner when using the flight camera. Resolved an issue when displaying survey data on data slates in Outposts. Fixed an issue that could cause items placed on mannequins to be displayed incorrectly. Fixed an issue that could cause objects placed near connected hallways to disappear. Containing hab modules move, tweak the snap distance for storage containers, improve visible lines for moving objects around links, fixed objects stacked into auto foundations not moving correctly if the foundation is moved, resolved an issue where building near a landing zone was prevented if the beacon was placed outside of it. That was a big issue. I remember when I was trying to find, there's like that one place that has all the resources. It's kind of the place you go to if you want to kind of farm XP, and I like found the perfect spot, but because my ship landed on it, I couldn't build. Resolved an issue with moving a power management robot to an outpost after it's built. Fixed an issue that could cause a wall to disappear when the industrial wall light is placed. Fixed an issue that could cause generators to not increase power after management. Quests, note there will be spoilers here, but proceed with caution. Okay. A Break at Dawn fixed an issue that could get the objective stuck on Find Hugo Fournier at Athena's Tower if persuasion fails, and all dialogue were exhausted with Hugo. Absolute Power fixed an issue where companions would not go inside the ventilation shaft with the player. All the money can buy fixed an issue that could prevent you from starting if all the Ryujin industry quest lines have been completed. Another one with that quest fixed an issue that could cause the ship and its technician to disappear after getting the ship back from impound. Back on the Grind resolved an issue trying to take a seat during the objective, sometimes caused a control lock. Back to Vectera addressed an issue where the player could later become control locked on the ramp if they missed Lynn's initial greeting and assigned her to the ship. Back on the grind, if the Terror Brew. Uh, okay, they're I don't know. They're kind of like they're doing these out of order. It's kind of confusing me. Another back on the grind. If the Terror employee is killed while the player is in combat with Tomo, the quest will now properly handle the quest target. Back to Vectera. Fixed an issue where the player could be unable to speak to Lynn and Heller after prevented from recruiting them as a crew. Background checks resolved an issue. Leaving the area of Ularu's computer could cause a confusing quest marker. Bare Metal fixed an issue at Neon Tactical where Styx had still the graffiti despite the player having the dialogue option indicating other. Bare Metal fixed a dialogue inconsistency with Frank talking about Styx. Bone Dry fixed an issue where hailing a stranded ship after finishing the initial dialogue could restart the whole dialogue. Breach of Contract fixed an issue where Ellie Yankton would not talk to the player if they're sat in Barrett's chair. Breach of contract fixed various dialogue and camera inconsistency that could occur if the player talked to Ellie before Barrett entered the room. More breach of contract fixed an issue where cancelling the dialogue with Keela could cause objects to update earlier than intended. Fixed an issue that could cause various objects with the objective when hacking the security team before talking to a member to find a community member to find Helgi. Fixed a rare issue where Barrett's quest did not appear in the quest tracker. Addressed an issue with the camera panning to Barrett during his dialogue. In Castillo's Revenge, fixed an issue where cancelling out of the dialogue did not make Matt as hostile to the player. Commit with Barrett fixed an issue that could cause Ellie Yankton to remain in her apartment after agreeing to have her officiate her ceremony. Deep Cover addresses a possible control lock when boarding the Vigilance after loading a previous save, where the player is an enemy of the UC SysDef. Delivering Devils addressed an issue with the objective not appearing when speaking to Cambridge after already paying the debt. Fixed an issue that could prevent companions from following the player to Percival at the end of the mine. Divided Loyalties fixed an issue that could cause Zealot ships to not appear during the encounter with Jada Huang. Echoes the Past resolved an issue where failing to pickpocket a rook inside the lock would cause Delgado to become accessible. Entangled fixed an issue that could rarely cause a control lock when Raphael greets the player. Eye of the Storm addressed a rare issue that could prevent docking with the Legacy. Fixed the location where the player got stuck in the section of wires when escaping from the UC Vigilance. Eyewitness fixed an issue that could cause members of the fire team to run out of ammo. Addressed an issue that could cause some confusion when incapacitating the thralls. Added a message to address possible confusion as to why the lodge is inaccessible. Resolved a possible progression issue related to how trolls were incapacitated by the player. Addressed a rare issue that could prevent Yumi from being present as the quest target. Final Thoughts addressed an issue that allowed players to drop the For Claire Manesh New Atlantis data slate. Find the missing mission objective should now complete when the targeted quest is found and healed. Friends Like These fixed a turret in the Varun embassy that was always hostile and could not be turned off or turned friendly. Friends Like These. The door inside House Room will now be correctly opened if the player left the embassy and returned later. The door inside the Freestar will now be correctly opened if the player left the embassy and returned later. I did notice that. I couldn't go back to the Freestar embassy and I was really confused because I was like, what the hell? Fueling Greatness. Purchasing any velocity color from Madame Savage and now update the objective. Purchasing any velocity color? I'm really confused as to what that is. Velocity color. I don't think I've done that quest, but I'm gonna have to look into that because that kind of makes me think that. Well, what could we get velocity color for? Maybe for ships? That'd be really cool, but I doubt it. Gruntwork addressed an issue that could prevent Hadrian from moving to the microscope if she was down before the sample was collected. Fixed an issue that could cause the Terramorph to idle instead of stalking the player. Fixed an issue where the objective would repeat to restore power to kill lanes. Removed an MP dialogue response that could occur if the player knows about Tau Ceti 2. Guilty parties fixed an issue that could occur when getting into the hideout if the player didn't talk to Dalton. Hard Luck, Clover McKenna will now be down instead of killed before the quest is completed. Hostile Intelligence resolved an issue where Hadrian may not follow the player out of the steam tunnels. Fixed an issue that could cause Ptolemy 2 guard ships to repeat the scene after the player he had already checked in with Hatam. In Memoriam resolved a rare issue with dialogue near the waterfall that could prevent romance with Sarah. In Memoriam, addressed an issue that could prevent progression if the player left Sarah while she was at the Colony War Memorial. Incoming Storm fixed an issue which would grant the player double the attendant rewards. Juno's Gambit added a marker back to Juno if the player chooses to leave before completing the quest. Keeping the Peace fixed an issue where the player attempting to speak to Yumi's while Eyewitness was active wouldn't work. Leader of the Pack resolved an issue that could occur if Davis died before the Alpha Ashta Legacy's end. Crimson Fleet bounty is now removed if the player's side of Sith Den, since the Crimson Fleet will always be hostile. Legacy's end, the security door inside the key will now be opened if the player left the station and returned. Fixed a dialogue inconsistency with Commander Conde and Lieutenant Toft. Addressed a rare issue that could cause Neva to remain in the elevator longer than intended. Credits now appear correctly in dialogue with Toft after completing the quest. Fixed an issue with Boggs dialogue that would allow it to occur before intended. Lost and Found made it easier for the player to find Dirk during the Speak to Dirk activity. Mantis Shakedown, address an exploit that allows you to get more credit than intended. That was one of the main exploits for making credits. You could basically just keep going over and over, which is interesting they patched that one. Matter of the Heart addressed an issue that could occur if progressing missing beyond measure simultaneously. Matter of the Heart fixed an issue which would allow Neon Security to interrupt Cora's lockpicking scene. Fixed an issue that could cause players to arrive in the middle of the Victor compound. Minor inconvenience fixed an issue that could make finding the creature more difficult than intended. Miss Beyond Measure addressed a few issues that impact the overlapping quest. Misconnection fixed inconsistency with progressing the quest in a different order than anticipated. New Driver fixed an issue where markers would occasionally not appear in the ship. One Giant Leap addressed an issue that could appear to prevent grav jumping when artifacts are split between ships and outpost. Fix an issue when companions still want to talk about less relevant information after revelation is completed. Addressing an issue that could cause a control lock while attempting to jump to Unity while in targeting mode. One Small Step fixed an issue that could cause an odd dialogue when Walter speaks. Operation Starseed fixed an issue where the door would be inaccessible if a crime was committed at the Crucible and the player returned much later. The door to the restricted wing should now be correctly opened if the player leaves civilian returned. Resolved a rare issue where the door leading to Franklin Roosevelt was inaccessible on Charbidis 3. Fixed an issue where the player would be unable to talk to Genghis Khan after the Civil War on Charbidis. Power from Beyond fixed an issue that could cause temples to not appear where intended. That was a pretty annoying one. Power from Beyond, it is now easier to talk to Vlad. Prank Caller fixed an issue where the joke ship did not grav jump away after finishing the dialogue. Oh my god. That'd be pretty funny if it just didn't leave. Red Tape Reclamation addressed an issue that could cause Hank to be away from the desired position. Fixed an issue with the pirate leader unintentionally changing position in dialogue. Research Outpost addressed an inconsistency that could occur when boarding Dr. Solar's ship. Added the ability to transfer items to Dr. Solar's ship from ship cargo. Party crews addressed some inconsistencies that could appear depending on docking and boarding. Revelation fixed a rare issue that could cause the quest to not successfully complete. Fixed an issue where a guidance path would appear in the hand scanner. Resolved an issue where activities would be automatically set to active after completing Unearthed. Fixed a rare issue where the Hunter Emissary could appear in an unreachable section of the Astral Lounge. They appear in the Astral Lounge? That's interesting. Robot Survey Team addressed an issue that could lead to inconsistent robot behavior. Rook Meets King fixed a rare issue that could cause Neva to stall during the tour of the key. Fixed an issue where the player could unintentionally get better gear from Dmitry Moldavsky. The captain can no longer be instigated, preventing few inconsistencies. Addressed an issue that could prevent travel after dealing with Regana in a specific way. Addressed an issue with accepting the Regana's hail if the system was left and returned to later. Addressed an issue with accepting Estrella's hail if the system was left to and returned. Fixed a dialogue inconsistency that could occur when loading a save on board the Regana. Sabotage fixed an exploit that allowed players could avoid arrest after stealing. Addressed an issue that could occur if the player was arrested after using manipulation on Demarcus and Ryusian HQ. Sabotage resolved an issue that could occur if combat was started before trying to sit on the neurosurgency operating table. Fixed an issue that could make David Barron difficult to find. Sensible ship. To collect your new ship, objective should now be clear if the player destroys the ship first. How do you destroy a ship before collecting it? Fix the rear issue that could list unobtainable items on target in supply mission. Supra et Ultra, the quest marker should now point to the intended elevator floors. Added a rear issue that can interrupt Tuala from reaching his mark under the stars. Fixed an issue with power distribution changing while using targeting mode during the simulation. Fixed a rear issue that could cause John Tuala to not appear at his intended location. Uh, Supra et or Surgical Strike. Ben Armistead should now more quickly head towards Ari Miller. Fixed an issue that allowed player to become trapped under the mine elevator in the Bonner Eklund's excavation site. Survey says fixed an issue that prevented the objective from clearing if the ship was destroyed. The audition addressed an issue with later passing a door if the area was left with Andrea while Andrea scored the player. The best there is resolved an issue that allowed fast travel after Jade Swan docked. Fixed an issue that could occur if Jasmine was down during the dialogue with Neva. Added the ability to progress the quest if the ship is docked to the key. The devil you know, the door to the cockpit of the Warlock should now be open if the ship is left and returned later. Empty Nest addressed a rare issue where Samco would sometimes not appear at the Aquila spaceport. The Old Neighborhood addressed a rare issue which would cause Sarah Morgan to not speak with when traveling to Venus. The Unusual Outpost fixed incorrect quest log text. Unearthed addressed an issue that could cause the door leading to the artifact to remain locked if the area is left. Runaway should now be visible on the MISC tab when active. War Relics fixed an inconsistency that could occur by trying to find Kaiser before his position is known. Addressed an issue with the quest starting if Demeter was dead. The door, worlds apart, the door to Hephaestus Mine H363 location will now be correctly accessible if the player left the planet and returned. Fix various lore inconsistencies occurring during the dialogue with Amanda Oxendine. Saves and loads. Okay, we're nearly there, guys. Jeez. Like I said, this is a long one. If you've gotten this far, thank you. I don't know why you're still here, but maybe you like hearing me muddle my words. Save and load. Resolved an issue that could cause bonus skins to appear to be removed from stored items after loading a save. Fix an issue where loading a save prior to repairing Nia Kalu's ship could prevent a player from activating the switches. Addressed a rare issue that could cause locations to be positioned incorrectly after loading a save. Fixed a rare issue that could cause the player to be in a falling state, unable to react with the player or rotate the camera as intended. Fix an issue that could cause a crash or create a corrupted save file when attempting to sync with 0 local storage is available on Steam. Fix an issue that could cause the flashlight to stay on while loading a save with no helmet equipped. Resolved an issue that could cause the player to try to pat through ships after loading a save. Resolved an issue where loading a save could cause character to shift in furniture when they were using. Fixed an issue where scars and tattoos could appear were removed when a save was made in Unity. Various fixes when loading saves. So something I with the saves and loads, the crash or corrupted save file when attempting to sync with local storage. I don't obviously that's saying that's just a Steam issue, but I've been recently playing on my laptop and playing on my Xbox, and I don't know if it's just like coincidence, but after the last update, it seems that corrupted save files are a lot more prevalent, and so hopefully they kind of address the non-Steam side of things. Now, obviously, I'm in a very specific position because most people aren't going to be constantly swapping between their PC and their Xbox. Anyway, here we go. Ships. The only I was hoping for some big ones. So fixed a rare issue where New Atlantis would appear to follow the player ship. I thought they got rid of that. Fixed a rare issue where the player could end up in a bad state if task swapping while fast traveling in space. Fixed an issue that could cause furniture to be doubled. Fixed floating items found aboard some ships. Fixed an issue that could result in missing items in ships after a logical modification. Address clutter items blocking pathways. So that second last option, if I remember correctly, that's the main kind of issue people are having with ships. So fun little side note, your ship will basically have a lot of items, just generic items stored everywhere. But if you modify your ship, it basically moves all the items like the cups, the plates, the food, everything that's out and about. It's not basically glued down. it gets put into your ship's inventory, and then slowly over time it will repopulate it. And what can happen is if you constantly change your ship, you could end up looking and you could have like hundreds of, even thousands of pounds of generic clutter. So hopefully that fixes that. So special descriptors in weapons name now appear properly when playing in localized language. Updated ship persuasion minigame text for localized languages. Fixed various typos and translation errors. Fixed various text displays. UI. Added the ability to invert the x-axis on a controller. That's kind of a big one, considering like in most space games, that's kind of huge. Wait, no, X is no, Y is the one. Never mind, ignore that. Holding RB or Alt on the star map will now show the. Oh my god! Finally, that right there is probably one of the most like requested things. Like it is a nightmare trying to navigate the star chart. So now we can just see all the maps. Like I don't know why I wasn't thinking at the start, but thank you, Bethesda. Fix an issue that could rarely cause the wrong ship to appear on landing pads after adding ships. I've had that happen quite a lot. That's pretty funny. When using a keyboard, the player can now control the ship's power allocation while pressing left Alt key and key 2, 6, or 8. That's kind of cool. Address some inconsistency with character creation sliders where sometimes switching back and forth would not produce the affected results. Fixed an issue that would result in player body face apparel not being hidden when visiting enhanced. That was kind of annoying. I had to take my gear off when I was seeing things. Fixed an issue where the player's skin tone could appear to change when rapidly scrolling through apparel. Fixed an issue where the when pressing certain buttons at the same time could cause the mission objective to remain on screen while the scanner is closed. Fixed an issue when the calibration image could disappear while adjusting brightness display settings, and resolved an issue that could cause incoming hail prompt to disappear when photo mode was enabled. Fixed enable VRS settings not resetting correctly when all display settings were set to default. Fixed an issue that could prevent landing after binding activate to X while on a controller while playing on PC. Fixed an issue that could cause the player to flicker when equipping apparel in the inventory menu. Fixed special characters not appearing in the precognition response in English. Fixed an issue when pressing certain buttons while using a controller could prevent the ship from prevent using the ship builder. It's a weird one. Fuel and distance should now calculate as intended for long jumps. Particle beam weapons should now kills should now increment laser kills in combat stats. Fixed an issue where the compass would not properly indicate the player is in combat. Shipbuilder upgrade mode now highlights both positive and negative stat changes. I like that because currently it only highlights negative changes. It doesn't really highlight positive changes. Fix an issue where the item card sometimes does not appear after inspecting an item. Fixed an issue that could cause tracked resources to not appear correctly on unvisited planets in the same solar system. Fixed text display issues with various scopes. Fixed an issue that could make the player character disappear when show character was switched to on in photo mode. Adjusted the name of the London landmark. Fixed the name areas icon. Fixed various icon inconsistencies on the planet map for landmark locations, and fixed various fixes for large menu fonts. So there it is. That's it. Oh dear lord, we're just almost under an hour. So if you're still here, thank you. I hope you don't mind that I just wasted an hour of your time by reading when you could probably have done it yourself. But uh, this kind of stuff is like new to me. Like I like covering the patch notes just because, like, for me personally, with other games and stuff, whenever patches come out, weirdly I like to watch other content creators talk about the patch notes and kind of I read along, just because I find it interesting to kind of like see what they think on stuff. And obviously that's what I'm trying to do here, but some people might not like that. Some people might be like, Crimson, I'd rather just read it myself, you idiot, which is very valid. But yeah, all in all, we've got a lot of fixes. This is clearly one of the biggest updates to date in terms of like what they've fixed. Now I'm not sure on the size. I'll have to go look. A lot of fixes. I could easily see it being as big, if not bigger, than the previous one. But yeah, the bottom line here is obviously we've got some nice fixes, but it's really kind of making me hyped because I feel like we're going to be getting Shattered Space in the next little while, next month or two. I wouldn't be surprised if like when this comes out, like live, and then like maybe like 2 to 3 weeks after it goes live on all like platforms that we get like the news about Shattered Space, because like it's coming. People have to realize it's coming up on summer. We've been kind of talking about this in the Discord, which plug the Discord if you want to jump in. You can submit ships. You can also see some phenomenal shipbuilders. We play some kind of games and stuff. We plan on doing some more stuff with the Discord just because it's fun group of people. But anyway, a lot of people have been kind of saying like summer's coming, and a lot of people kids get out of school in summer. Perfect kind of slot to play. To pump out a DLC. Get some money. But yeah, all in all, hope you guys enjoy this. A lot of good changes, thankfully. A lot of like kind of welcome ones. I'm a little bit annoyed that they didn't like kind of list the various photo mode changes. I would have liked to have known, like what sort of poses we're getting and stuff. Just a brief, but it's whatever. I'll probably do some research on it, see what it's looking like on Steam. But yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and check out some of the videos. Bye bye.